Hello, how are you doing today?
Doing very well, Lauren.
So we're gonna do an interview today. Okay, what is your name?
My name is Dr. Peter Uma.
Does your name have any meaning?
Yes, the name does have meaning. My middle name is Ekerete, and it means like the father, and my last name means wealth.
That's great. Where are you from?
I'm from Connecticut, but I was born in southeastern Nigeria, but grew up here in Connecticut.
Could you imagine yourself growing up somewhere else?
Absolutely, yes. Growing up in Nigeria was quite good. The education system, very, very good also. So I can imagine myself growing up. I grew up in Nigeria, so I can imagine myself growing up anywhere. I prefer Nigeria, but I live here now.
Is there anything you want to tell us about where you're from?
Of course, yes. I'm from the southeastern section of Nigeria. Nigeria is a country of, right today, about 180 million people, the largest black nation in the world and the richest nation in the world. Nigerians love education. Studies have shown in the United States that of all categories, Nigerians are the most educated or are the highest educated. The average Nigerian has a master's. For doctors, Nigerians, the average population is about 3%. Those who go to college, they get doctorate degrees. Nigerians get up to, say, 4%, those who finish with a doctorate degree. So education is very important to Nigerians, and they're very successful across board in the United States.
That's fascinating. How is life growing up?
Life was good. I grew up in a family of 10. Five boys, five girls. My dad was a school principal, and my mom was a family woman, and she had businesses. Um, and we lived with dad on campus when he ran boarding schools. Um, I went to a Catholic school, and then um, grew up with my brothers and sisters all together. We had a house in the village and we had a house in the city.
Is there anything most memorable about while you were growing up?
Just the whole idea of fun. We had fun growing up. We played soccer, we played games, we did not have access to computers or little phones where you can lock yourself away. Occasionally we watched TV, but we made up our games and we played. You came back from school and you just played yourself to death until your mom calls you back in for dinner. Life was really fun and life was very innocent. I think back and I remember it with great, great joy.
That's great. Why did you go to college?
Why?
Yes, why?
I didn't really have an option. Um, Everyone in the family goes to college. 10 siblings. The last boy is an engineer, and the last girl is an engineer, and everyone older is an engineer. Within the family, we have doctors, nurses, teachers, um, accountants, and several others. Within the extended family, nearly every person over the age of 25 either has a college degree or is working on one. So if you're born into that family, you have to go to school. It ties back up with what I said earlier about Nigerians and their love for education. Parents push their children to go to school because it's the best ticket to the next level of life.
Why do you think going to college was important to you personally?
As I said earlier, I didn't really have a choice. It was just like what you do. I was like 17, 18. So my goal was higher than going to college. So college was just a pathway to getting to where I wanted to go to. I spent quite a long time in college and finished in excess of 4 to 5 to 6 degrees over a very long period. So going to college for the first 4 years, was not a final destination. That was just a first step towards achieving some kind of professional qualification to do what I wanted to do, which is teach.
What is your profession?
I teach philosophy and comparative religious studies at a local college here in Connecticut.
Where and why do you teach?
I teach at the University of Bridgeport. Why I teach? I consider myself a natural teacher. I'm very passionate about it. In some ways, you could say, comes to me easy. I love to communicate, and they say I'm an excellent speaker. So when I teach, I'm able to communicate what the students want to hear, and then I also am able to communicate my own point across. And in that exchange between what the students want and what I want, everyone ends up winning. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Could you imagine yourself in another profession?
Of course, I have a doctorate in administration and leadership, or leadership and administration, and I've done other things in the past. I've done management. I just didn't like being locked up in an office. Um, and I teach in 5 subject areas. So I can do the classroom version of it, and I can do the practical version of it outside the classroom. And I've actually done that. I spent years in management in nonprofit entities.
Wow. Do you have any exciting childhood memories?
That has to be high school. Most of my best memories come from high school. I play music, and I did every kind of show imaginable while I was in high school. I actually believe if you participate in after school programming and all those extra stuff, clubs, it allows you to actually have a life while you are still in school. So the music, the dance, the drama, the marching band, those are the best memories out of high school.
Um, what made you enjoy high school other than your after school activities?
Well, my best friends are still from high school. We were growing up, we grew from boys into men coming out of high school. So we were very mischievous and got ourselves into trouble, but we enjoyed getting ourselves into trouble
Yeah.
because we did it together. So for me, that is maybe the friendship allowed me to enjoy high school quite much.
Do you have any special talents?
I do. I do. Which one you want?
Any. You can list any.
Well, most things I want to do, I can do. I play a variety of musical instruments. From the piano to the organ to guitar to drums. I can do most things with my hands. I can paint, I can draw, I can build stuff, and I can cook. Yeah.
If you can go back in time and change one thing, what would it be and why?
I love my life. I wouldn't change a thing. Life is not a destination. Life is a journey. So I have enjoyed the trip, and I'll say that to anyone listening. Life is a journey, not a destination. Enjoy the trip. The good things and the bad things, if you can call that bad, that I've gone through in life, those are the reasons I am the man I am today. Altogether, hardship allows you to build character.
Have you traveled anywhere? If so, where?
Yes, I've traveled in Europe. I've traveled in through North America. I've traveled on the African continent. Within the United States, I think I've hit all the corners of the country, at least nearly 40 or more out of the 50 states. Um, so I just came back from traveling to Nigeria, and to do that, I flew New Jersey to Ontario, Canada, from there to London, UK, from UK to Nigeria, and back again.
Wow. Can you describe any of the places that you went in the environment?
Um, for instance, when I came back from Nigeria, I flew from Nigeria to the UK, and then so you take a look at life in the UK, very different. Um, the houses are much smaller. People live a more narrow but very precise life, and they speak their own version of English. And in Nigeria, they speak about 500 languages, but also speak English too. Um, and so you have to contend with that. And then coming back, I went through Montreal, and they speak French there, and that was exciting for me because it made me remember some of my French, which I rarely use. So I liked that, and then came back through New Jersey and back home to Connecticut.
And do you have any advice for children at Fairchild?
Do you have any advice for the students at Fairchild?
Yes.
You have to be ambitious in terms of your desire to acquire a college education. That is the most important thing. I still continue to believe that it is not what happens to you in life that matters, it is how you handle it. Every person has a story. What happened to them, what happens to their parents, it doesn't really matter what happens to you. It is how you respond to what happens to you that actually produces a final result. And so the goal is not to fall and stay fallen. The goal is to fall and get up. The struggle of life itself should be embraced as just part of life. All the perfect people are dead in their graves. And so you have to through the good times and the bad times. And finally, as long as you keep your eyes on the prize, you'll get what you want. But not going to college is a big mistake, because going to college allows you to at least examine your capacities that you already have inside. Every person has a gift, so go find your own gift.
Thank you so much for doing this interview. This has been an interview with Dr. Peter Uma, and thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you, Lauren.